Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between MYM Cloud versus an OGS player that I don't know. So that is unfortunate. I wish I knew. It is a Protoss player, so it is OGS, a Protoss OGS player versus MYM Cloud here on Metalopolis. So now we have Cloud spawning as the pink Terran player here at the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, OGS spawning as the yellow Protoss player here at the 12 o'clock position. This is Terran versus Protoss once again, and I am looking forward to this particular matchup to see how these players will play. Now, there are a number of options, and based upon the spawning locations, Reapers and Siege Tanks and Colossus are going to be very, very powerful because you can place Reapers and you can do some early aggression, jumping up and down cliffs, also being able to scout out very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if Cloud opted to go for a very fast expansion off of a Reaper expander. That wouldn't surprise me at all, as the Reaper does give you decent map presence, and then you can easily train up Marauders to try to stop or slow down any early Stalker aggression. You can see OGS now moving out with this probe. It is a scouting outer after the gateway, and the probe scouting in the correct direction. I am a little surprised that OGS is actually not scouting in the counterclockwise direction. Scouting in the clockwise direction is a much better option for him at this particular stage, and he is going to find Cloud very early and perhaps even get some damage onto that SCV as it tries to build that barracks. So very lucky scouting positioning now coming in from that probe. The probe gonna start zapping at that SCV, and most likely Cloud still has no idea where exactly OGS is. The reasoning behind that is that normally, based upon the scouting positionings, you would either assume a late scout from here or an early scout from here, so it will be quite some time before Cloud figures out where his opponent is. And now this probe is going to be able to return home, and this Zelnaga Watchtower will become a very important landmark on this matchup. And it looks like, yes, OGS is already capturing that Zelnaga Watchtower, revealing a large portion of the map. We are going into a second barracks. We are getting a reactor now, so it is going to be reactor Marines off of this build, and perhaps maybe a tech lab later on to get Stimpack research, combat shield research. Stimpack and combat shield both take a significant amount of time to research now, so it will be a significantly delayed. Cloud now finally making his way off and with this one particular SCV, but I believe a Zealot will be able to get in 2 rounds of attack, followed with a chrono boosted Stalker. That Stalker is going to come out of there in just a second, and as soon as it pops out, that SCV is going to get taken down. Oh, the SCV spots the Zealot on the ramp. Nicely done, and is able to stay alive. The tech lab is now being added on, as double Marines are now being trained as well. Are we going to get some Marauders? Yes, Marauder, and it looked like research was being started, yes, on that concussive shells. So those Marauders are going to be able to stop and deal a lot of damage towards gateway units. There is no bunker just quite yet. So based off of this, we already have a pylon here, and now this probe continuing to wander around the SCV, looking to see if there are any proxy pylons, and this probe gonna get very lucky on the timing of this, as this one pylon will be completed in just a second. Warp gate research almost done. Gateway now underway. And the gateways, those 3 gateways are now going to be finished warping in, and now as soon as one more chrono boost could speed up, yes, going to speed it up and then round out that research, and we are going to be getting some very early units in just a moment. This pylon should be completed just as those warp gates are being upgraded. There you go, 4 warp gates, and this is going to be a very strong 4-gate push in just a moment. There are a lot of Marauders and Marines though. The concussive shells will increase the damage output, as those units are going to have a very difficult time walking in. And oh, this pylon may get taken down, but the Zealots and Stalkers are already up there. So many Marines, and the Stalkers are now just getting picked apart. This pylon needs to get cancelled. It has been cancelled, and the concussive shell slowing down the rest of those units there. The Marauders also getting slowed down by some of those Marines unable to catch up, and that push was not nearly as effective as OGS wanted it to be. 4 Stalkers and 4 Zealots now perhaps going to try to continue to push, and this is not going to be looking good at all. Cloud is going to be able to stop this with relative ease. The Marines are just going to start turning around. Some SCVs coming off the mineral line as well, pulling and now taking some damage. The Stalker is able to get some damage onto those units. Harvester count 21 versus 22. And this battle will just continue back and forth. So the Stalkers now trying to engage. The Stalkers are going to be walking up the ramp. Marines and Marauders trying to battle it out. And this battle, SCVs are going to be trying to absorb some of that damage as well. The Zealots going after some of those SCVs. And the Stalkers, only 4 Stalkers left. Another SCV has been taken down. But that is not... excuse me, not looking good at all. So it looks like oGs is just going to try to rinse and repeat and continue to try to push up this ramp. Cloud is now starting to fall behind in terms of harvesters, and that's going to slowly start to hurt him. He doesn't have enough tech in order to get any early medevacs, as a medevac would round out that army very, very easily. You can see the Marines now sitting in that bunker. The Marines are also able to be stim-packed while sitting in that bunker. So they can use Stimpack pretty freely and not worry about damage nearly as much. Perhaps this Marauder should hop out and change positions with this Marauder here, as these units are now sitting on the low ground. Army-wise, 1,000 versus 950. Twilight Council now being warped in. Most likely we will get a Blink being researched as well. So as soon as a Zealot goes up that ramp, perhaps even getting a force field right here with that sentry, these Marines and the Marauders are not going to be able to do very much in order to try to engage on the Stalkers, who should be able to blink up right into here and then start just attacking the mineral line. But that is still some time away. The Twilight Council still 50 seconds away, or about 10 seconds away, and then you still need to start researching that blink in order for any true changes to be happening. The Twilight Council is hidden in the smog over here, or in the vents. Another pylon now being warped in, making sure that it is able to spot any drops. Perhaps another, and now a Dark Shrine coming in. So a Dark Shrine now coming in is not going to be Stalkers with Blink. It is instead going to be Dark Templars. So a large amount of gas needs to be saved up. One poor probe, I believe, was shot down there. Hopefully it wasn't a sentry, as that would have been a very, very heavy loss to endure. There is currently no engineering. Oh, there is an engineering bay, and we need to get a missile turret down. Without a missile turret, that is going to be a definite problem. That's what you should be trying to go for as a Terran player, either to get a missile turret to spot any observers, or in this case, Dark Templars, which will be walking up that ramp in just a moment. You can see that there is a decent amount of energy on that orbital command, but it looks like Cloud has been dumping it pretty religiously for mules. I do not believe Cloud does not know about that Dark Shrine or that Twilight Council, as these units are now deciding to back off. So they are going to be perhaps trying to retreat back into this location here. There are a couple pylons still in play, an expansion now being set up by oGs. And that is going to help them out tremendously, as a factory now flying out to see where that army is engaging. There are 2 medevacs already in play, and it will be dropping straight into the base. There is a Dark Templar now currently warping in. Is it going to be able to take us down in time? Stalkers now coming out to engage. 2 Dark Templars now continuing to just battle it out. The sentries need to get some force fields down, and blocking their own Dark Templar. So that is going to be an issue, as those Dark Templars are now getting stuck themselves, unable to engage. Zealots caught on the wrong side of those force fields, and now those force fields did more harm than good. Very, very bad play, as those Dark Templars are now trying to run into that backside. Not going to be able to get that much damage. 1 medevac picking up the majority of one load and able to retreat. The Dark Templar have been revealed, I believe. Yes, the Dark Shrine has been revealed, and I'm sure Cloud was also able to listen to that very, very important slash and attack from those Dark Templars. And with that, missile turrets are now in play, and I believe oGs is in a bit of trouble. We still need a second command center to be built, as you can see that these mineral patches are already starting to mine out. Down to 7 mineral patches already, as he obviously used mules on the closer mineral patches. You can see it looks like this mineral patch right here was constantly being muled and mined out. So Cloud is going to be behind. You can now see a factory just floating off there. There is a Dark Templar hiding in the shadows just beyond sight range of that missile, or detection range on that missile turret. Another medevac drop looking to come in, and Marauders are dropping out of the sky. Dark Templars, Zealots are now warping in. Medevacs now getting shot down very, very religiously by those Stalkers. Marines and Marauders are now using that stutter step in order to maximize the distance and maximize that damage. oGs losing many of his own Stalkers here, and now needs to retreat into the shadows and now try to fight back with that 1 medevac. And now a Dark Templar once again re-engaging into this battle. Scanner Sweep does quickly reveal it, And now Cloud looking to deal even more damage. All the probes now being transferred over here to the natural expansion location. Stalkers, perhaps if a force field was in play, or a sentry was in play, they would be able to force field and stop the rest of those units. Marines and the Marauders, oh, the Stalkers, and now looking to try to shoot down that medevac there. The medevac may be able to redrop its load and try to get more damage in. Taking a look at the unit count, 19 Harvesters compared to 25. Both players playing a very non-traditional, non-macro style, as another group of medevacs now coming in. And wow, with another group of medevacs coming in, those medevacs are going to be able to drop in and now just take down the rest of this building here. One base Terran, stopping a very early, very aggressive play by oGs. And oGs says WW. So Cloud taking the win here on Metalopolis. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay here on Metalopolis between Cloud and a Terran player and a Protoss player from the team oGs.